Hello everyone, how are you doing, my dear students? I hope you all are keeping great. Welcome to the new batch, that is our NEET champions. So, in this particular video, I'm going to teach you the lecture 1 of body fluids and circulation. And as you all know, in this particular video, initially we will be discussing some concepts, and at the end of this particular class or video, we will be discussing the questions from these concepts that we have discussed. And these questions are going to be previous year questions. Okay, previous year question papers, questions of NEET and AIMS. So let's get started without wasting much time. So today in L1, what exactly we will be covering? So today we will be covering blood, and under blood, we will be discussing the topics like plasma, composition of plasma, and the formed elements in the blood, that is WBC, RBC, platelets. So I'll be just writing it as formed elements. And at the end, we will be discussing ABO blood group. Okay. So ABO blood group. And definitely at the end of the session, we will be discussing questions. What type of questions we will be discussing? PYQs of NEET we will be discussing. Okay, so let's get started without wasting much time. So starting with blood. Now, what is blood? You all know that blood is fluid connective tissue. But a question can come that blood is not true connective tissue. Why? Because blood has got definitely the matrix, that is plasma, just like any of the connective tissue, they too have got matrix, right? And apart from matrix, just like any other connective tissue, they are supposed to have the cells, so they have got cells, right? But the additional thing that any connective tissue should be having is the fibers. So they do not have got any fibers. So no fibers. So that is why it's considered as blood is not a true connective tissue, because fibers are absent in blood. Okay. So this is about blood, not true connective tissue. Okay, but why are we discussing about blood, right? The reason being, look at the chapter name, it's body fluids and circulation. So which are the two fluids in the body, if anybody asks? It's going to be two fluids that is circulating in our body, that is blood and lymph. So in present class, we won't be studying about lymph. Lymph we would be discussing in next class. So today we will be just discussing about the components, different things about blood, right? So blood and lymph are the fluids that is actually circulating in our blood. Okay. So yeah, definitely this chapter consists, or it constitutes of the human body fluids and the human circulatory system more, right? So if you consider lower organisms like Cnidaria, that is coelentrates, and sponges, that is porifera, they have very simpler circulation. So they will be circulating the water which is surrounding them with the help of their body cavities. Okay, so that is the small thing that is there in introduction part. That is why I just mentioned. Okay, I'll be writing over here invertebrates. So specifically like sponges and Cnidaria, they circulate the water that is surrounding them, because after all they are living in water. So they circulate this water which is surrounding them with the help of their the cavities that is present on body. Okay, Yes. Now, so we understood what is actually blood. It's nothing but something that has got a fluid, and in this fluid, the cells are floating. Just like imagine lot of people in a swimming pool. They are enjoying their life in the water. They're going here and there in the swimming pool. So same thing, the cells in the blood. Okay. Now, blood has got, as I just discussed, two components. So what are they? What are the two components in the blood? That is plasma and formed elements. That is nothing but cells, right? So you know that the majority of the blood is made up of plasma. That is around 55% of the blood is made up of plasma. Rest 45% is made up of these cells, right? Now, what does plasma consists of? Plasma consists of many different things. Like we will be separately discussing about plasma. However, okay, I'll be writing about plasma like a vague introduction. So they consist of water. Let's discuss. I guess we should be starting discussing about plasma. That is better. Then I'll be explaining about what are the different cells. Okay, plasma of the blood. Okay, what is plasma actually? Plasma, when I say plasma, what comes into your mind? Comes to your mind something fluid, something watery. Yes, of course. So blood is blood has got some watery fluid. That is nothing but plasma. So in the name itself, I have said it is watery. So they have got water. What percentage water? 90 to 92% is made up of water, and rest 6 to 8% they are made up of proteins. Now, there are different types of proteins we get to see in plasma. What are those? So, in plasma, we get to see something called as fibrinogen, and they have got albumin, and then they have got the third type of protein that they have is, what is it? Globulin. Globulin. Okay. So fibrinogen, albumin, globulin. Now, yes, of course, they all are proteins. Now, what is the function of fibrinogen? Have you ever heard in lower class something called as fibrin? If not, it's okay. So fibrinogen is nothing but protein that is going to help in clotting or coagulation. So basically, if we happen to come in contact any sort of a wound, this fibrinogen that is present in the plasma of the blood will be helping in the coagulation of the blood, that is the stopping of the bleeding. Okay. Albumin. Now, have you heard about egg albumin? So, even we have got albumin in our plasma. Now, what is the role of albumin? So, they are going to be helpful in maintaining the osmotic balance. What is the meaning of osmotic balance? So, cause of the presence of different concentration in the albumin, our blood will be able to maintain the concentration. So blood shouldn't be like very dilute, or blood shouldn't be very concentrated, right? So it should be having a certain particular, concentration. So that has been maintained by albumin. Okay. So that's how we consider the function as osmotic balance. That is, they will be maintaining that osmolarity of the blood. Okay. So basically albumin is nothing but a solute in the blood that will be maintaining the concentration. Okay, that is why the function is osmotic balance. So if the osmolarity of the blood is too much, so what they do? They cause osmosis to attract some water, and that's how they will be maintaining that concentration. And now the last protein is globulin. Have you heard about immunoglobulin? Yes, it's antibody. right? So by this we understand globulin's function is defense. Let's keep it very simple. Defense. Okay. So these are the different, what do we call, proteins that we get to see. Now, plasma also have got different minerals. So what are the minerals that we get to see in plasma? So there are a couple of minerals. Now it's kind of difficult to remember everything, right? So how do you remember the minerals? So can you believe, or I mean, you can simply agree that our blood has got some amount of salt, right? So remember it as NaCl. So the minerals are sodium chloride, NaCl, calcium magnesium, NaCl, calcium magnesium bicarbonate. Okay, so these are the minerals that we get to see in plasma. Simple. NaCl, calcium magnesium bicarbonate. Now coming to the nutrients, our blood also have got nutrients, because that's why blood is circulating from one part to the other part of the body, right? So plasma is the one that will be carrying the nutrients, because the cells, how cells can carry nutrients, right? But since plasma is a fluid, it can flow and it can be transporting the nutrients. So what are the nutrients that we get to see in plasma? So we get to see glucose, amino acids, and lipids. Basically all the essential biomolecules. Okay, lipids. So these are the things that we get to see in plasma. Easy, very easy, right? Now, there is a question that can come about serum. Now, what is serum? Serum is nothing but, if you take plasma and if you remove all the clotting factors, then what is the remnant? That is called as serum. So why are we giving so much importance to serum? So serum is the one that comes out after the coagulation of the blood. Okay, so if we happen to get any wound, so all the clotting factors will be helping in coagulation and everything. And what is the rest? Or in a very simple manner, as soon as you remove some amount of blood from your body, and if you keep it as it is, okay, you will be able to see one type of a fluid which is not it is going to be something like yellowish in color or something, and they won't be having any clotting factor, because all this clotting factor, all this they will be accumulating in one place. Okay, so so if I take some amount of blood, we get to see after some time a fluid over here, that is nothing but called as serum. So serum is I'll be writing it in some other color. Okay, serum is equal to plasma serum is equal to plasma minus clotting factors. So if you take plasma and if you remove all the clotting factors, all the one that helps in coagulation, what is the remaining fluid? That is called as serum. Very important to remember. Okay, so for a lot of for a lot of analysis of the blood, sometimes we require only serum. Okay, so that is everything about plasma of the blood. I hope I haven't left anything out. Now let's understand these formed elements in a separate slide. Formed elements. that is also called as cells, and the percentage is 45 in the blood. So there are mainly three types of formed elements. Okay. So very first is erythrocytes. We can call it as red blood corpuscles or RBCs. Second type is leukocytes, which is also called as WBCs. Third type is platelets. We can also call it as thrombocytes. Okay. So blood, what is blood? Understood. What is plasma in the blood? Understood. Right? So swimming pool is plasma. Now people who are swimming in the swimming pool is formed elements. Okay. So we get to see a lot of people, varieties of people swimming in the swimming pool, right? Who can be rich, poor, who can be a doctor, engineer, CA, IAS officers, anyone, right? So that is why we are learning about categories now. Erythrocytes, also called as red blood corpuscles. Now, you know that they are red in color. Why they are red in color? Because they have got hemoglobin, which is a red colored pigment. And you know that every hemoglobin can carry 4 oxygen molecule from breathing and exchange of gases. You know this. Okay. And it's a iron containing pigment. Okay. Red in color. It's iron containing pigment. And what is it? It's hemoglobin. Okay, simple. There comes another pigment called as myoglobin. Okay, which you will be studying about it. Not very much in detail, but in locomotion and movement chapter, you will see about it. So hemoglobin is see, my dear students, you have to connect different chapter concept when you are studying a particular chapter. So what all you know about hemoglobin? It's a quaternary protein. They have got 4 polypeptide chain, right? 2 alpha, 2 beta. And what else about hemoglobin? They are able to carry 4 oxygen molecule. Now myoglobin, how myoglobin and hemoglobin are different? Hemoglobin is present in RBC, myoglobin is present in muscle. Myoglobin is tertiary protein, this is quaternary protein, right? Now, erythrocytes, you know that erythrocytes have the lifespan of 120 days. But who produces them? Through erythropoiesis, they are produced, which starts in red bone marrow. Okay, so basically all of the cells of the blood is being produced by bone marrow, but specifically the RBCs are produced by red bone marrow. Okay, what is the meaning of erythropoiesis? Formation of RBCs. Okay. So for the formation of RBCs, there are some other organs are also involved, like kidney produces erythropoietin, okay, which helps in erythropoiesis. But erythropoiesis will be starting from red bone marrow. Okay. Now, what is the function of erythrocytes or RBC? So, RBC's shape, if you consider, it's biconcave, right? And they have no nucleus. So by this we understand their function is transportation of gases. Okay, specifically oxygen. So oxygen is maximum amount of oxygen will be transported in the form of oxyhemoglobin. But carbon dioxide can also be transported along with the hemoglobin with the help of carbaminohemoglobin, but a lot of carbon dioxide is actually transported in the form of bicarbonate, okay, along with the bicarbonate with the help of carbonic acid. Yeah, like that is breathing and exchange of gases. So mainly what gases what gases hemoglobin transports? That is oxygen. Maximum amount of oxygen will be transported with the help of hemoglobin, but it also transports some amount of carbon dioxide in the form of carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, fine. So that is about some function of RBCs and the shape, the structure, and something very important to note about erythrocytes. Why am I giving so much of importance to it? Why erythrocyte is the first cells that I'm discussing? Because they are the most abundant cells in the blood. So they are most abundant cells compared to all other cells. Okay. So that is about erythrocytes. Now, discussing about leukocytes. So leukocytes we will be discussing in very much detail, but simply just to give introduction, they are white in color, but they have got lobed nucleus, but they are unfortunately short-lived compared to RBC. Our RBC is having 120 days lifespan, but they are very much short-lived. Some of the WBCs are even living just for 2-3 days. Okay. So there are many types, and they are white in color because they don't have any hemoglobin pigment. They don't have red colored iron containing pigment, right? So that is about leukocytes. So why this name leukocytes? What is the meaning of leuko? Leuko means colorless. Okay, they are either colorless or you can consider it as a white. Okay, so yeah, that is why the name leukocytes. So functions we will be studying based upon different types of leukocytes. Now coming to platelets. Platelets, they are not actually the true cells because they are nothing but cell fragments. What am I writing? Produced by fragmentation of megakaryocytes. Okay, so they are just the fragments, cell fragments, which is being produced by megakaryocytes. That is why in NCERT they say that it is the special type of cells that has been produced by the bone marrow. It's a special type of cells produced by BME's bone marrow. Okay. So certain chemicals or in general platelets, so they are involved or they will be helping in clotting. So reduction in their number can cause clotting diseases. So which can lead to even the death of the people because of the excess of bleeding, which lead to excess bleeding. Sorry. Let's just do it. Can cause reduction in their number, cause excess of bleeding. So let me tell you about platelets little in the detailed manner, whatever I have written. So platelets, it's first of all not a true cell because it's the cell fragments. So if somebody asks, is there any nucleus over here? So they have got no nucleus because they are not true cell, they are the cell fragments. So how they are being produced? By a big mega karyocytes, by big cell, they got fragmented to produce thrombocytes, also called as platelets. Now, their main function is coagulation, clotting. How? Because platelets can also release certain factors. They can release certain clotting factors which will be helping in coagulation. Okay, that is why the name thrombocytes. In coagulation, we will be studying certain terminology like thrombin, which converts the fibrinogen to fibrin, and fibrin is the one that will be helping in making the clot. Okay, so that is why the name of the cells is thrombocytes. So if in case if these numbers, thrombocytes number reduces, clotting factors number reduces, clotting reduces, thereby if the coagulation clotting doesn't happen, we can also bleed to death. Okay, so that is about platelets. Fine. Now, so we know that erythrocytes is the most abundant cells. So we know that leukocytes are short-lived. Okay, so which is the abundant number of, which is the cells which is abundant in number? That is RBC, and the next comes is platelets. So if RBC's number is 5 to 5 million RBCs per mm cube, platelets number is around 1.5 million cells per mm cube. So this is most abundant, followed by this, and this is the least. Okay. Now, so we have understood about erythrocytes, platelets. Now, leukocytes, there is very less information we get to see over here. So let's see certain important things about leukocytes along with the numbers of all the cells. So this is how important this is if you ask. They can ask you statement related question from this. So from this slide, statement based questions can come. Okay. So we should know the numbers as well because it's an NCERT. So in general, RBC's number is 5 to 5.5 million per mm cube. That is 5 to 5.5 million RBCs per mm cube. WBCs is 6,000 to 8,000 per mm cube. Platelets is 1.5 to 3.5 million thrombocytes per mm cube. So this is the most abundant, followed by this, and this is the least. Okay. Color you already know. So you know that hemoglobin is present in the RBCs, but how much hemoglobin we get to see per 100 ml? That is approximately 12 to 16 gram per 100 ml of blood. We get to see 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin per 100 ml of blood. And this is colorless, this is also colorless. Nucleus. So which cells in the blood has got nucleus? Only WBCs. Lifespan, already told you. Okay, so these two are short-lived. Platelets and leukocytes, this is 120. And function, you know, transportation of gases, this is defense, and this is for coagulation. Now it's time to study about the different types of WBCs, leukocytes. So we can divide leukocytes into mainly two types, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Now what is the meaning of granulocytes? So granulocytes are nothing but the cells which has got granules. So what? What happens if somebody, if some cells have got granules? So what? So these granules are nothing but these granules. If you would have seen any type of WBCs, they have got lobed nucleus like this. Okay, and there are some dots. So this dots represents for granules. Okay, and these granules will be having enzymes that will be destroying the pathogen or antigen. Okay, so that is why these cells are called as granulocytes. Okay, so among all the WBCs, there is one type of granulocytes which are highest in number, most abundant. That is neutrophils. So neutrophil is most abundant type of WBCs. Basophil is least abundant. This is abundant. Most abundant. This is least. Basophil. Okay. Now, we will discuss more. So I hope granulocytes in general, what is the meaning? I hope you have understood. So there are three types of granulocytes: neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil. All of them have got granules. Okay. Now, coming to their, how do they look like? So basophil have got S-shaped nucleus. They have got S-shaped nucleus. Okay, S-shape nucleus. Eosinophils, they have got bilobed nucleus. Okay, something like this. These are granules. They have got bilobed nucleus. Neutrophils have got multilobed nucleus. Trilobed or multilobed nucleus. Okay. Multilobed. That is how they appear. Okay, multilobed nucleus. Now, coming to the function. Basophils, which are least in number, it's good that they should be least, because when they will be helpful or what is their actual function. So basophils, they will be releasing certain chemicals during inflammation. Okay, so their main function is during inflammation, that happens usually during the allergy. So what they do during inflammation? So during inflammation, they produce certain, enzymes or certain proteins. What are these certain proteins called as? That is histamine, heparin, and serotonin. So these three chemicals are produced by basophils during inflammation. Now, what do? Have you ever experienced when you have an inflammation, or when you, a very simple example, when you get a bite by mosquito or maybe some insect, you feel itchy. Why do you feel itchy? Because of histamine. So histamine make you feel the itchy sensation. And then is heparin. What do the heparin do? So you would have seen during inflammation, there is going to be the redness. Okay. So that redness is actually cause of heparin, because heparin is an anticoagulant. They prevent coagulation. Okay. And then is serotonin. Now, during inflammation, for the blood circulation, the vessel should be expanded, dilated. So serotonin is a vasodilator. Okay, so that is a function of these three, and it's not there in NCERT, that's why I have not written. So basophils will be releasing these chemicals. Now coming to eosinophil. Eosinophil will be, it will be reducing the infection, and they are also important during allergic reaction. Okay, they are associated, eosinophils are associated with allergic reaction. Okay, so that is the function of eosinophil. They will be reducing the infection, as well as they are associated with allergic reaction. Their percentage is just 2 to 3%. Please don't ignore any percentage of any cells. At least if you can't remember anything, please do remember which is highest, which is least. Because continuously from past 10 years, questions are coming from the percentages of different WBCs. Okay? Yes. Now coming to neutrophils. So why these neutrophils numbers are so high? Why their number is so high? What is the reason? Now, when any pathogen, let's say malarial parasite, entered to our body, which is the first cell that will be trying to kill, destroy? That is these neutrophils. So what they do is they literally hunt these parasite, this pathogen or maybe bacteria or anything. They just like how hunters hunt, some animals. Similarly, they hunt and they try to do phagocytosis. So monocytes and neutrophils, their function is both neutrophils and monocytes. Their function is phagocytosis. You know what is phagocytosis? That is a cell eating. Just like how amoeba do phagocytosis of its prey, similarly they do phagocytosis of the pathogen that enters. Okay. Now coming to monocytes. Monocytes and lymphocytes, they are agranulocytes. They don't have any granules. Okay, they are agranulocytes. Now, let's draw their cell as well. Why to leave them alone? Right? I guess let's use some different color. Monocyte is the it's the largest cell. Okay, compared to all of the WBCs, they are largest in size and they have kidney shaped nucleus. And they don't have any granules. Okay, and what is the function? Phagocytosis. Something very interesting to note, if you do not know, have you heard about macrophages? So actually macrophages are nothing but monocytes. So monocytes will be getting differentiated into two types of cells. One type of cell is macrophages. Okay, so monocytes percentage is 6 to 8%, and then as the last type of granulocytes is lymphocytes. So lymphocytes have a spherical shaped nucleus and no granules, of course. Now lymphocytes, when they get exposed to pathogen, so cause of the exposure, they differentiate into two types of lymphocytes, that is T cells and B cells. So how many types of lymphocytes we have got? B cells and T cells. Okay, so we will be studying about B and T cells, their function and everything in human health, and this is chapter of class 12 standard. Okay, so in general lymphocytes will be getting exposed to pathogen and they get differentiated into B and T cells, and their percentage is not most abundant, just after abundancy, just after neutrophils, then the next percentage we get to see is of lymphocytes. Now what is the reason behind this? Because they are also very much important for the immune system. So when first pathogen enters, which is the first cell that is going to attack and destroy? That is neutrophil. But if in case, if these pathogen escapes from the neutrophil, then the specific immune response is being given by lymphocytes. So in general, their function is immune response. They have got ability to specifically produce a specific type of antibodies to kill a specific type of pathogen. Okay. So that is about the shape of the nucleus and different function of different WBCs. Okay, I guess I have cleared everything. Let's move to the next concept, that is ABO blood group. Okay, so there are mainly two types of blood group that has been considered. Okay, so one is, I guess I'll be using this blood group. One is ABO type, another one is RH. Okay, so two type of blood group. One is based upon the presence and absence of RH antigen. Another one is based upon the presence and absence of different antigens of ABO. So let's discuss about, in today's class, we will be just discussing ABO type. So this is in the next class. Okay, fine. So let's see what is this ABO blood group. By the way, what is this blood group? So all of us would be having same colored blood, but when it comes to donating the blood, accepting the blood, there are different types of groups that we get to see in the blood. And this is based upon presence and absence of different antigens. Based upon presence and absence of antigens on RBCs. Okay. So to understand this, let's understand one of the type of the blood group, that is ABO blood group. So ABO blood group. So what are the different types of individuals, or what are the different types of blood groups that we get to see under ABO blood group? So that is A, B and O blood group. Okay. So A blood group, B and O and AB. So these are the 4 types of blood group that we get to see under ABO blood group. Now, as I just told you, even in ABO blood group as well, we are able to see 2 types of antigens. Antigens on the surface of RBCs. What are those 2 types of antigens on the surface of the RBC? That is A antigen and B antigen. Now, what is the meaning of antigen? Antigen is nothing but the protein. Okay. So, which is able to produce immune response against the antibody. Okay. So, that is the meaning of antigen. So, on the surface of, let's take the example of one of the blood group, that is blood group A. A blood group. So in A blood group individual, what are the different things that we get to see? So on the surface of the RBCs, we are able to see the antigen called as A. Okay. So the RBCs of the individual who are having A blood group, they have got antigen A on their surface of the RBC. And in the plasma, this is the plasma. You know that RBCs are, erythrocytes are present in the plasma. In the plasma, we are able to see antibodies. What type of antibodies? That is anti-B antibodies we get to see in the plasma. So these all are B antibodies. So what? What's going to happen because of this? Now, imagine this particular person is trying to take the blood from the blood group B. Okay. Now, he is taking blood from blood group B. So, let's mix the blood group A and B. So, blood group B individual, this is blood group B. Okay. So this individual will be having antigen, surface antigen B on the surface of the RBC. And in the plasma, there is going to be antibody against A. Okay. So what's going to happen now? So as we know that the antigen and antibodies, they are not good to go. They are not friends. They are enemies. Think that antibodies and antigens are enemies. So whenever they come in contact, they fight and they destroy. They destroy everything. So whenever there is fight, there is going to be destruction, right? So here also there is going to be destruction. So now the fight is between whom and whom? So the fight is between the antigen and antibody. So when as in when the blood group B is mixing with the A, now what is going to happen? There is going to be anti-A in the anti-A, that is antibody A, right, in the plasma. So that will be start attacking the antigen that is present on the surface of the blood group A. Okay, so there is going to be fight. So this fight will be resulting in what? Agglutination or clumping of the blood group. Okay, agglutination. So he will be suffering because of accepting the wrong blood group. So who he can take, from whom he can take the blood now? He can't take blood from B individual because there is going to be antibody A in the plasma of the B individual, right? And also, if you see in the plasma of the what do we call A individual, there is antibody B, right? So this will be attacking the antigen B that is present on the surface of the RBCs, right? So there is going to be destruction. So from whom he can take? So for that we have got a table. So who can take whose blood group? So the blood group name has been written, antigens present on the surface of the RBCs are written, antibodies in the plasma has been written, because that is very important to otherwise, like, this is the one that is actually attacking the antigens that is present on the actually these are the one that will be attacking this, right? So that is why it's important to know the antibodies in the plasma. So let's see who can take whose blood. So blood group A individual who is having antigen A on the surface of the RBC and antibody against B antigen in the plasma. So they can take the blood group of only A individual, because in the A individual we are able to see A antigen, right? Not antibody against A. So we can take their blood group, and we can take blood group. They can take blood group blood from the O, that is O blood group, O blood. Now, how is O blood? So when I draw the RBCs of O blood group individual, they won't be having either A or B antigen on the surface of the RBC, but instead of that, they will be just having anti-A and anti-B. Okay, so since there is no surface antigen on the surface of the O blood group, so there is nothing to, like, the antibodies B won't be attacking. Antibodies B won't be attacking on the O blood group individual. So why O blood group individual can actually give the blood to A? The reason being, I repeat once again, there is no antigen on the surface of the O blood group. So this anti-B won't be attacking anything because there is no surface antigen. Okay, so I repeat once again, what is attacking what? The antibodies inside the recipient blood group, antibodies that is present in the plasma of the recipient blood group. So that will be attacking the antigen that is present on the surface of the RBCs of the donor blood group. Okay, so that is why O blood group can donate. Similarly, B individual, if you see, so B group, since they will be having antibody against the antigen A, so they can take blood only from the B individual and also O, because once again, now this can't attack any antigen because there is no antigen on the surface of the RBCs of O blood group. Now coming to AB blood group. AB blood group individual, they will be having both antigen A and B on the surface of the RBCs. So that is why they can take blood from A individual, B individual, also O group individual, also AB group individual. Okay, because there is no antibodies on the plasma. So they won't be attacking any of the antigen because they won't be having any antibodies in the plasma. When I say no antibodies, it is not the immune system's antibodies, it is the blood group antibodies we are talking about. Now coming to individual O individuals. So they don't have any antigens on the RBCs, but they have all the antibodies. They have got antibody against A as well as antibody against B. That's why they can't accept any of the blood group except their own, because this will be attacking the antigens that is present on the surface of A, B or AB blood group individual. Okay, so this is why if you look at the table, who can receive all the type of blood group? AB. So AB is called as universal recipient. Why AB is called as universal recipient? Because they can receive all the different type of blood group. Okay, because they don't have any antibodies on the plasma. That's why. Whereas blood group O is called as universal donor, because they can donate to everyone. Right? Because they don't have any antigen. On the surface. That is why they can donate to all the different blood group containing individuals. So that is about ABO blood group, and we are done with the concepts for today, and it's the time to discuss questions. NEET 2023 question, and the question is about basophil. So let's see what is the question. Which of the following statements are correct? Basophils are most abundant cells of the total WBC. No. That is neutrophils. Right? So this is wrong statement. Basophils secrete histamine, serotonin, heparin. Yes, of course. That's why they will be increased in number, or they will be showing their action during the inflammation. Basophils are involved in inflammatory response. Yes, of course. That's true. Basophils have got kidney-shaped nucleus. They have got S-shaped nucleus. It's wrong. Basophils are agranulocytes. No, they are granulocytes. So this statement is also wrong. So what is the right answer for this question? B and C. That's over here. Next question. This is 2023 NEET. Last year question. Look. Next question. Eosinophil lymphocytes, neutrophil monocytes, they have given different percentage. And I am very sure you can't remember all the percentage. So I have told you at least remember the most abundant and the least abundant. So we know the most abundant, that is neutrophils, have got 60 to 65 percentage, right? So C is 4. So where do you get C is 4? That is over here. And in other options, there is no C is 4. So you can go for simply C as right answer. By the way, we also know that even lymphocytes is the next abundant, that is B is 3. So that is also matching. And the rest you can simply match. Monocyte D is 6 to 8. And eosinophil is 2 to 3. So C is right answer for this question. Once again, 2023 NEET question. Look, from the concept that we have discussed, so many questions have come. 2022 NEET, you have to arrange the cells based upon decreasing order of their abundancy. Decreasing order means what? From more to less. So which is the most abundant in the blood? First is RBC. Next is platelets, because RBCs are some 5 to 5.5 million RBCs per mm cube. Platelets 1.5 to 3.5 platelets per mm cube, right? So first is RBC, okay, followed by platelets, and then in WBC we know that is neutrophil. So what should be the answer? C, A, B. CAB. Where is CAB? Here it is. CAB, ED is the right answer for this question, right? Next, person with AB blood group are called as universal recipient. Why? We just discussed it now, right? Because in AB blood group, we get to see antigens A and B on the surface of the RBC. That is why they are AB blood group, and that is why they are able to receive any of the different type of blood group. Okay. NEET 2021 question. See, another question, very similar question that we have discussed NEET 2020 also they have asked that function. Now the question is about the function of these cells. Okay, we know that what we know here. See, there is one confusing, two confusing statement. See, these two are very similar, right? So, what do we know about different function now? We know that neutrophils are able to show phagocytosis. Neutrophils and monocytes are able to show phagocytosis. And we also know that lymphocytes are able to show immune response. So 3:2, 4:1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3:2, 3:2, 4:1. Right? 4:1. Very confusing. Let me tell you. So the confusion is here because of the numbers. So this is the one that I'm talking. Okay. So this one is 4. Immune response. This one should be 4. I guess this one. This is the one. This is the one. That should be 4. That should be 4. Ha. This should be the right answer, but we will be further seeing. Okay. Then what is the one that we know very well? 3:2. Neutrophil 3:2. This is correct. Yeah. And 2:4. So basophil. We know that basophil will be releasing the granules containing histamine. This is correct. Now, release histaminase. My dear students, histaminase is different. Histamine is different. Histaminase will be breaking the histamine. Okay. Histamine is involved in the inflammation, allergy, but histaminase will be breaking this histamine. Okay. So, eosinophils will be releasing histaminase, which is a destructive enzyme. Okay. So, answer is 4th one, D for this question. If you have any sort of doubt, you have Telegram group. So, please do ask question and please name me. Like Vindhya ma'am, we had doubt in this particular lecture, this particular class, and you can ask in the group. I see some of the students responding, talking in the group, but I am not talking because it was not related to studies. You were trying to interact among yourself. That is why I have not responded, but I see all of your messages in the group. So please do ask question. Now we have a question from the different type of proteins that is present in the plasma. We know that fibrinogen is for the blood clotting, albumin is for the osmotic balance, and globulin is defense mechanism. So 1:2. Okay. Here they have given A, B, C, D. Okay, correct. One, correct. Oh yeah, they have given A, B, C, D here. It should be 1, 2, 3, no? Huh. So, what is that? 1:2. 2 is blood clotting. When they give this 1, 2, 3, no, it's very confusing because this is also 1, this is also 1. You have to see the, what type of numbers they have given and you have to match. So, 1 is fibrinogen, 1 should be I, that is this one, correct. 2 is triple I. 2 is triple I. Yeah. 2 is triple I. That's how you can answer. That is better version of answering. 3 is single I. Correct? Yeah. So answer is D for this question. Simple. Right? So that's why match the following takes some time. Even if you know the answer, it's difficult to match. Next, adult human RBCs are enucleate. Which of the following statement is are most appropriate? This is sort of a confusing question, a 2018 question. So if you see, if you go for the older question, the question difficulty is going to be quite more. Okay, nowadays the easy questions are started to come. So adult human RBCs are enucleate. Yes, of course, we know that. There is no nucleus in adult RBCs. In the adult human RBCs or in the mature RBCs, there is no nucleus. That's of course correct. It's only the WBC that has got nucleus. But the question is, appropriate explanation for this feature you have to say. Actually, all of these features are right, but appropriate explanation for this you have to answer. They do not need to reproduce. It is not for that reason RBCs are not having any nuclei. Okay, they are somatic cells. Yes, of course, they are somatic cells. But again, that is not a right explanation for RBC having no nucleus. They do not show any metabolism. How metabolism is related to nucleus? How metabolism is related to nucleus? Once again, not really, right? Metabolism includes the different enzymes and all these things, but not really nucleus. Their internal space is available for the oxygen transport. So since they don't have nucleus, there are spaces in the nucleus, and thereby the oxygen transport can be done efficiently. So answer is only 4 for this question. Okay. Next, NEET 2016. Name the blood cells whose reduction in number can cause clotting disorder leading to excessive loss of blood from the body. That is, of course, the clotting cells called as platelets. And platelets have got another name called as thrombocytes. So answer is D for this question. Serum differs from blood in. So serum is nothing but plasma without clotting factors or plasma without fibrinogen. Okay, so answer is C for this question. Erythropoiesis will be starting in red bone marrow, but however, different enzymes, specifically kidney produces, in the kidney there is something called as JG cells which produces erythropoietin. That will be helpful in erythropoiesis. Okay. And we have got, I guess, the last, no, we have got more questions. Very good. Okay. Which of the following is correct? So blood, okay, plasma is equal to blood minus lymphocytes. No, plasma is equal to blood minus all the cells. Okay. Serum is equal to blood minus fibrinogen would have been correct, but here they have given blood plus lymph, plasma plus RBC plus WBC. By the way, lymph is nothing but they don't have RBC, specifically no RBC and some of the clotting proteins. Okay. Blood means, yeah, this is the right answer because blood is nothing but plasma plus all the cells. So answer is D for this question. NEET 2015 question. It was NEET 2014, I guess. So this should be 14. Yeah. Another question from blood grouping. Person with blood group AB is considered as universal array. Same question, huh? AB is considered as a universal recipient because he has. So he is called as universal recipient because he has antigen on the RBC. So where they have given both A and B antigens on RBC but no antibodies in the plasma. That is why he is a recipient. Okay, universal recipient. Next, a person with unknown blood group under ABO system has suffered much blood loss in an accident and needs immediate blood transfusion. His one friend who has a valid certificate of his own blood type offers for blood donation without delay. What would have been the type of blood group of the donor friend? So, they haven't given what is the donor's blood group. Right? They haven't given what is the blood group of the person who has suffered from blood loss. Okay, they haven't told any type of blood group name who is actually suffering from the blood loss and who wants blood. So in such situation, we know that which is universal donor, that is type O. Okay, so type O, since he is universal donor, this and another friend who is ready to donate. So his blood group is type O, because he can donate to anybody, and definitely this person's who is having the blood loss, his blood group can be either A, B, ABO. So which can accept the blood from type O. Okay, so answer is B for this question. And that's all for today. If you have got any doubts, please do ask questions in the Telegram group that we have done. And that's all. Let's meet in the next class, next video. Until then, bye.